Most of farmers run such a risky farming environment in this agriculture industry. Malaysian farmers have to face big obstacles in order to achieve the target for crops production. The numerous sources of risk that growth appear in farmers as variable market prices, illegal personal risk, um, changes institutional in their business management, and risks including weather. So in this paper, it reports to study the result of the risk that has been taken in agriculture sector by farmer that producing pineapple MD2. We collecting data from Berwan Agro Farm, which this company it run pineapple farm in Kedah. Introduction. In introduction, Malaysia is rich with natural resources, so practically they are reliant on the export of their valuable resources and agricultural products, and known with a diversified export base as a speedily industrializing country. We know that Malaysia had on list with rank one of the Southeast Asia's fastest growing economies. Plus, Malaysia is in the third ranking richest state after Brunei and Singapore at the Association of Nations of Southeast Asia. In the rapid development of the agriculture sector in Malaysia, it opens many job opportunities in order Malaysia could generate their income to reduce their poverty. Moreover, nowadays there are many youngsters that start involved in agriculture sector and could generate lucrative return after harvesting their crops. However, there are also many risks that every farmer needs to take as a challenge or obstacles in order they want to continue the operation or production to produce more crops in the future. The risks of various branches, which it is either in financial, land, workforce, subsidy, uncertain weather, pest, disease, production, and others. Moreover, if the farmer cannot overcome or control the risks that happen to their business or farm, it is will directly somehow could affect the production line in the future. In this project, we pick a company which is a Berwan Agro Farm that actively producing pineapple MD2. It is around Kedah region, and this company was opened by Zulkifli Saidin, and the type of business is sole proprietorship. Definition and concept. Risk, it is defined as a situation in which the possible outcomes and the chances of each one occurring are known. Uncertainty, on the other hand, characterized as a situation where both the possible outcomes and their probabilities of occurring are known. So, the source of risk and uncertainty in agriculture are many, which it can be divided into few branches as production and technical, price, market, financial, legal, and personal. Production and technical risk. New technology also one of the sources of production risk. Usually there are always some risks involved in changing from tested and reliable production methods to something new. In agriculture industry, crops and livestock performance depends on their biological process, which means the crops can be easily affected by disease, insect, weeds, metabolism, genetics, and others. Next is financial risk. Financial risk comes when producers or farmers start to borrow money to finance their operation of business. This risk also causes by uncertainty with future interest rates, lenders willing to give or not, market collateral start to change, and the business ability could generate cash flow necessary for debt payment or price and market risk. So every year commodity prices will be different from years before with the year next year, which the reason beyond out of control of producer. So the government policies, farmers production decision and weather can affect by supply of a commodity, plus the result of income, consumer preference, export policies, exchange rates, price of competing product, and the strength of the general economy is from demand of a commodity. Personal risk. In personal risk, there are many risks which one of the farmer or their worker could suffer from injury and illness that exist, especially for the farmer that farming using traditionally method which it is a hazardous occupation. Moreover, some of the critical health problems come after too much exposure to odor, dust, and sun. Due to retirement, a change of job, or relocation, key employees may be lost. After that, a significant production could be lost, usually occur before a replacement takes place if there is no one is informed about skill in one of the responsibility that has been given.
Hi, my name is Atulis Michael and my metric number is 263,719. And today I will talk to you about the risk that we're having with the company that we choose, which is the Berwan Agro Sindarmahat. Before I proceed to talk about the risk that we're having with that company, let me tell you a bit about this Berwan Agro Sindarmahat. Okay, this company mainly produces pineapple, which is the MD2 type. Okay, this company also started their business back in 2015. This company, the owner of this company name is Mr. Zulkifli. Okay, that is the little bit information about the company. Next, I will continue the risk that we're having with the company. There are main three risks, which is the price risk, personal risk, and the financial risk. Okay, now I will talk to you about the price risk that we're having with Berwan Agro Sindarmahat. Upon the research we are having, the price of pineapple is not stable. The price is not stable because there are too many unpredictable environment, which is climate change, a pandemic happened in our country, and many more. This unpredictable environment or changes will make the price of pineapple either go up or go down. This pineapple also needs the requirement to be put in the market, which is to be must be 1 kilogram to be in the market. In 2020, the price stated by Berwan Agro Sindarmahat is 12 ringgit per 1 kilogram. This is too much for a pineapple. From back 2015, they were selling like 6 ringgit in 2015 per 1 kilogram. This changes making the price of the pineapple will be in a desired state. This will make the market of the pineapple will less likely to have less demand than back in 2015. The main solution for Berwan Agro Sindarmahat to solve this risk is to have a pre-harvest agreement. What does this mean is the company made agreement with other supplier or buyers before it was harvested. This will make the price will always be constant and will not drop depending the changes from environment and climate change. This is also to make the pineapple to went into the market without reducing or increasing the price. Okay, next I will talk to you about the personal risk that we're having by Berwan Agro Sindarmahat. Personal risk is a state where the company is shortage of worker and assistant to take care of the farm. This risk is also being felt by Berwan Agro Berhad because this company is huge compared back in 2015 because it was still small and using less worker. But now in 2020, after our research, this company uses more of a worker back in 2015. Insufficient of worker making the plantation will have a risk in their production. The worker needed for the plantation is to take care all the pineapple from the disease and to give them a better care before it will go rotten or damaged. The main factor of Berwan Agro Berhad to have an insufficient of worker is mainly from a soil factor, environment or the government. From the soil factor itself, workers they have their own daily problems or they need to take care of their health. Sometimes worker has their own unhealthy day, which may make them sick and unable to go to work. For the environment, workers cannot work too much if it's too rain, heavy rain, or a sun to go to work. Okay, for the government itself, back in 2020, there is a pandemic that happened in our country, which is Malaysia. This pandemic makes the worker unable to go to work to prevent the pandemic to be spreaded and the disease to get to someone else. This is a way that the government to make the pandemic doesn't go spread. So the Berwan Agro Berhad doesn't have sufficient worker at that time, which is making their plantation go to decrease. The solution for this risk is to make an early preparation or prediction for this type of risk. For the prediction is to predict the weather that will come to the company that will make unable for the workers to go to work. This will make the job will go unwasted. For the preparation is to see if the pineapple itself does it get to the disease that will need to take care of that pineapple before it gets rotten. This will be used a less worker in the future. For the financial risk, the Berwan Agro risk also stated that the financial is the main reason for the business to go to run. Okay, the financial risk that we're having by Berwan Agro Berhad is they have a high production rate. Back in 2015, they only have less, but in 2030, a higher demand makes them to produce more production, and this will use more financial. Okay, Mr. Zulkifli, the owner of the Berwan Agro Berhad company, stated that financial is important for him to start a business. Back in 2015, he is only a normal person with a less financial, but using a less of his financial to start off the worker. Financial risk will make is only to make him to buy supplies, paying wages, and more financial to make the business run. Mr. Zulkifli also stated that the financial is very important for him to start his business, although he has a less financial at that time. For Mr. Zulkifli, the owner, for him to solve this problem is to request the government assistance, which is from MADA, MARDI, and MPIB. These government bodies will help them to provide supplies, the seeds, and technology to help them become more productive and to expand more in their plantation. That's all for the issue. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi Dr. Jamal. My name is Natasha Amira binti Ilyas and my metric number is 262195. So today I would like to continue our case study presentation with the fourth issue. So from this case, production is one of the risks that Berwan Agro Farm company face every year. So pineapple crops will easily infected by several types of disease such as pathogen-induced decaying disease, fruit collapse, inner eye disease, and also core rotten disease. Okay, let me explain about one of the famous disease yang selalu menyerang pineapple crops, which is pathogen-induced decaying disease. So for this disease, it is normally happen on November and December. It is because it related to the local weather when the condition of the rainy season. So pathogen-induced decaying disease can occur when the plant materials that been taken from the pineapples is often susceptible to infection during the rainy season when it stores in piles. Okay, it is also can occur when the reproductive spores that calls as conidia and it is produced in high humidity condition and can be dispersed by the wind. One Agro Farm already knew that pineapple crop is a high risk in the production, but it is also profitable agribusiness at the same time. So they keep growing the pineapples as their business due to the expected profit that they will be earned. Okay, One Agro Farm also have some strategies toward those of the risk stated above. Okay, the strategies mostly are based on the experience in disease of pineapple crops for several years. So some strategies is identified towards the disease of pineapples as applying technology like restoration of basic crops materials and by using chemical substances by dipping the infected fruit into chemicals like benomyl for 5 minutes to minimize the decay. Next, we move to the selected interview where I have been interviewed Mrs. Azliza binti Azizi on 11 of January 2021. So this interview is based on how the company handle all of the issue that the company face every year. So by listing all the risks above, Mrs. Azliza Azizi also state the strategies and better way on how to overcome those problems. So the first one is more practices, skills and also the knowledge have to be improved and well trained by the management to the farmers. So practically all her farmers have implemented many strategies to manage the risk they face every year. So they will always focus on the production because production will be the major risk and might be related to the others. Okay, for the production risk, One Agro Farm will applying the technology method by using chemical substances such as chlorothalonil or zinab and spread to the infection crops. Okay, Mrs. Azliza Azizi have overcome the financial risk by conducting the trend analysis for her company to assess changes in the farm profit and the owner's equity over time. So it can be controlled. So from that way, it can control the key farm expenses and will be considered the other suppliers and alternative inputs. Okay, for market risk, this company will standardize all the size of the pineapples after harvest and deal with the wholesale buyers to negotiate the price which will be satisfied. Next, the increased productivity of farmers in handling post-harvest activities and can enhance the quality of the fruits by having the skills and the knowledge to the farmers so that the personal risk in this company can be reduced. So what I can conclude from this study is that all the farming risks are an accepted reality in Malaysian crops and it was no exception in the regard. So as a company that conduct agriculture business, they have a greater exposure to the risk than the other types of business. So this type of business have to understand the risk they face and have to be well prepared to manage all of the problems they face. So in fact, the favorable seasons and improved farming technologies can tend to hide the ongoing requirements for prudent risk management. Okay, last but not least, I will share about the preliminary interview with the farmers. So basically, I have been interviewed the youngest and also the older farmers. So from this interview, we want to evaluate and compare the way they deal with the problems they face. What I can conclude from this interview is both of them have pros and cons. So the younger farmer, they will align their financial management with the farm strategies, such as come back to the business planning and the strategy development. So it can help to overcome the financial risk in their business. Meanwhile, what can we conclude for the older farmers? They have many skills and knowledge to manage their farms, but they are not very interested in the technology development for their crops. For example, they are still using the traditional way to cure the disease rather than use the chemical substance for their pineapples crops. So that's all from me. Thank you, Dr. Jamal.
My name is Syeda Nur Akila binti Jais and my metric number is 262014. I will continue with focus group discussion. The next step in the research phase that have been selected is focus group. The focus group discussion have its own main objective that were to explore the issue that could be studied, identify what risks the farmer faces, and to learn how they deal with this problem. In addition, we hope that we could assess farmers' needs in regard to risk management and decision support tools and learn how these needs might be met. The selection of the participant for focus group discussion is typically purposive and based on suitability or convenience rather than representativeness. The farmers are selected from a few number of farmers in our residential area. We have shortlisted 9 participants and choose 1 final participant in the sphere of Agri Business. In this discussion, the farmer said that the risk is the outlook of anything that threatens farm enterprise. Risk is something that would prevent you from gaining profit or profitable opportunities which you would expect to get. The farmer have acknowledged and accept the fact that the farming is risky. Let's continue with type of risk. Generally speaking, the way scholars categorize source of risk is basically depend on the study objective. Nonetheless, according to many authors, the main source of risk in farming include production, marketing, institutional, personnel, and financial risks. So according to the agribusiness management risks, we would like to suggest some strategies in order to help improving the outcome. The first risk, that is production risk, can be solved by knowing the production risk variation level. Other than that is by looking into the source of crop production risks such as weather, insect damage, and weed competition and disease. When this problem happens, farmers are advised to interact with new technology. Next is the marketing risk. Farmers can use the marketing risk management tools, that is reduce risk and avoid high risk venture. This can be done by knowing current market information, using contract production, and spreading out business. Farmers also can shift risk to other by using contracts such as cash, forward, and deferred, participating in future and option markets. Next is by maintaining the flexibility by timing sales and purchase of output and input. Furthermore, is the suggestion for financial risk. Farmers can follow the financial planning process starting by determining current financial situation. Second is developing financial goal. Third is identifying alternative course of action. Fourth is evaluate alternative. Fifth, farmers should create financial